Please be indulgent with my horrible French accent. Thank you. First of all, I want to express my profound gratitude to everybody who participate to the organization of this event. Enabling a dialogue between different culture, different religion, and above all, between different human beings is something marvelous. Especially today in our globalized and interconnected world, creating opportunities like this symposium is a way of building bridges. A multitude of invisible bridges that allow better understanding, the destruction of preconceived ideas and prejudice, and so to better appreciate and accept other way of thought, other form of belief. I come from France, a country where the principle of secularism is enshrined in the Constitution and viewed as a basis for living together. The principle is simple. No religion or belief is officially recognized by the authorities, and as a result, all religion and belief are equally accepted and respected. The only condition is that they must not disturb public order and must respect French law. As a Buddhist, and I think all the Buddhist, French Buddhist and stranger Buddhists are very happy of this constitution or this secularism. Buddhism began to grow in France in the middle of the 60s with the arrival of several masters and teachers from different traditions, Tibetan and Zen notably. One of the first preoccupations of these masters was to try and meet the people in charge of other religions present in France, and obviously, especially those of the Catholic and Protestant churches. In a friendly spirit, many of these allowed the use of their place of worship, monasteries and temple for the organization of the first Buddhist retreat. Thus, when I met Master Taisen Deshimaru in 1973, the celebrated Japanese Zen master in 1973, the first retreat I did with him was organized in the famous Dominican monastery near Lyon. We practice Buddhist meditation in the monastery church, and several Dominican monks took part in the retreat. The superior of the monastery had asked Master Deshimaru if the presence of the statue of Christ was inappropriate, and Master Deshimaru replied beautifully saying, "Neither the cross nor the statue of Buddha disturb. Only the ignorance of human beings, their anger, and lack of tolerance that creates wars out of what is pure and saintly. So Buddhism very quickly won many adepts in France, and a large number of native French people turned to Buddhism and made it their religion. Still in the 70s, the large waves of immigration following the terrible events in Vietnam and the whole of the Southeast Asia led to several 100,000 people coming to France, often in quite dramatic circumstances. This community brought with them the monk and nun, and little by little started to construct pagoda and place of worship, rebuilding the way of life in a new culture. It is important to point out and pay homage to this community who, in the face of immense suffering, succeeded in making a quiet and gentle integration. Something comparable happened at the same time with the Tibetan tradition, and several large Buddhist monasteries appeared in the French countryside. Each of these communities developed separately and independently. Today, there are about 1 million Buddhists in France and several million what we can call sympathizers, that is, people who feel close to the teaching of Buddha and who go frequently in some place of Buddhist practice. We can say also that there are nearly 1,000 places of practice of Buddhism in France, and in, by example, region of Paris, there are more than 2,000 or 3,000 places to practice different Buddhist tradition. It was not until the middle of the 80s that the need appeared to create a representative structure for all the Buddhist tradition present in France. Thus, the UBF, French Buddhist Union, or Union Bouddhiste de France, was created, whose role is notably to serve as a representative of the Buddhist community to the French administration and the other religion in France. During these 40 years, I have been a witness and an actor of the establishment of one of humanity's most ancient religion in a culture to which it was totally foreign, but whose principles were not so distant. You know, of course, liberty, equality, and fraternity can very well be seen in the light of the teaching of Buddha. So French conception of democracy and Buddhism are very close, sometimes in the theory. I was very lucky during all these last 40 years because, as you know, maybe Buddhism traveled a lot through the century and the culture and the land, especially go from India to China, from China to South Asia, and to Japan during all this last 20th century. So now Buddhism is coming really in Occident, America, of course, South America, but all the Europe and especially maybe land or country like France, because of this big immigration of the 70s. I must say that especially from the 90s, a lot of work had to be done to explaining Buddhism to all levels of society in France. When the traditions were not considered simply as a sect, they were at best assimilated with Asian philosophy, culture, or esoteric tradition. I recall an animated debate during a meeting of non-governmental agency at the Council of Europe in Strasbourg, where it was simply impossible to get it admitted that Buddhism was one of the great religions of humanity. At best, it was a philosophy, I was told. And we're there at the heart of a genuine cultural problem. Buddhism cannot be a religion because Buddhism is not theist. For a large majority here in Europe, religion means God. It took nearly 30 years to understand that this interpretation of the word religion was at the source of a very great confusion and a deep incomprehension. Certainly, Buddhism is not theist. Buddha is not a god. There is no creator. And as if that was not enough, there is no founding dogma or holy book. It is true that does not simplify the discussion. On the other hand, and anybody who has traveled to Asia knows this, there are places of worship on every street corner. There is a monastic community completely present in daily life. There are celebrations, prayers, services, funeral ceremony, 1,000 years old text, and an incredibly profound teaching. Last but not least, there are precepts, rule for life, ethic visible in the behavior of each individual and in their way of living together. Thus, there do exist all the elements of what we call religion. Above all, there is a religious presence, what one might call a religious spirit. My master, Taizen Deshimaru, often say, we should find the spirit of religion. The spirit of religion that precedes religion. The spirit that unites us, not differentiate us. The spirit that binds us together, not separate us. That is what we can call an inter-religious dialogue. A dialogue which does not stay on the surface of words and appearance, but which touch the heart of man. It is the quality to the heart of man that will define the quality of the dialogue. In my tradition, the Soto Zen, we have a word to express this. In Japanese, it is doji. It signifies that we are not alone, that we cannot consider ourselves alone, autonomous and independent. He is him, I am me. This is totally false and illusory because this reality does not exist. Doji is the unity of all beings under the great law of interdependence. I move, everything moves. So it is in this reality which today is becoming more and more visible in this globalized world, in this village, as I like to call it, that the dialogue made up of symbolically important moments and events like this one, but also of an infinity of invisibly small and insignificant one. That is, that this dialogue open the hearts of men. So thank you for your presence and attention.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the speech, and we also appreciate the French accent, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So we don't have so much time, but of course I'll be ready to collect some quick points, comments, or questions. Please.
Good morning. I'm Ruth Brody-Chiron from Los Angeles with the Parliament of the World's Religions there. And I'm curious because I've been working in this field for almost 30 years. And even though I know that Buddhists point out that Buddhism is a philosophy, not a religion, nevertheless, every interfaith conference, every event that we've ever organized that we call, interreligious, Buddhism is always there, and Buddhists are always there. So what is it like for you coming from a philosophy of life and not accepting the definition that other people have imposed on you? Because if you ask people what are the great religions of the world, people always say Buddhism, and the Buddhists are saying we're not a religion or philosophy. So how do you manage, right, to hear a definition of yourself which is not accurate and work with people who are coming from that world?
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Is there any other question? Comment? Okay, please.
I think it is really a personal answer. We can answer differently in different way. But for me, by example, of course, it is a religion. And since 40 years now, we, at the beginning, we never participate, or very rare were the occasion where we were invited as a to participate to inter-religious dialogue. This changed a lot since 10 or 12 years. Now there are too much. We receive too much invitation. We cannot follow. All the discussion about religion want also Buddhist. It's a kind of big changement, is evolution. In France, I speak, or in Europe also.
So it doesn't bother you to be called either religion or say philosophy?
No, it doesn't bother.
One more. Is there the microphone, please? Thanks.
Bishop Pablo David from the Philippines. I am curious if because I've been hearing the word extremism for several days already. Does extremism have any manifestation at all in Buddhism? I just wanted to remark also that I think Christian monasticism is very much at home with the Buddhist philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, actually Buddhism in Occident has a very good image. Buddhists are very friendly and kind people, and always happy and sympathetic. But in reality, please believe me, it's not like this. Yeah? Buddhists are human beings, and as every human being, they have extremism souls, or they can be violent, they can be as any other people. So this image is very, it's not true, it's not correct. And it's important to know that, because the practice of Buddhism itself means to learn to control or to make peaceful our extreme attitude in all level. That means extremism lecture of the text, but also extremism practice for ourselves.